This is Ashton Marcus, and I'm on location with Rogue Artist Ensemble for their presentation of Kana Project Walls Grow Thin.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm at KACI, 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm here with
Jasmine Orpilla. I am a performance artist, I am a musician and composer, and for this particular project, I'm a paranormal consultant, and I also play the lead character of Kana. My take on Kana is that she is an expert on the inner demons.
Question, if my viewers decide to come by and see this piece, what should they expect to see?
You should expect to see multiple worlds colliding through through the lens of various forms of performance art in the name of theater, puppetry, immersive theater, a little taste of escape room. However, there's also a lot of intimacy within all of the stories that we share, and the yokai, Japanese supernatural, and a lot of exploration of what spirit is.
Yeah, I really enjoyed myself. Actually, I saw your version of Kana, and I really enjoyed your performance. I thought you were quite good.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
So, throughout the theme, there actually is a bit of a theme in it. I noticed a lot of how should I say, female abuse, and with what's going on in the news today about what's going on in Hollywood, it seems to be a theme. What are your thoughts on that?
Okay, well, those themes that you mentioned have existed for, unfortunately, a very, very long time. Many of the stories that we share actually are based on experiences that precede the current events at the moment, which are now coming to light. And we all hit upon the concept of vengeance. And my take on misogyny in general is this female perspective of what vengeance is and what it means to go to the level of the predators. You know, a fox, by the way, for this show, Kitsune, the fox, it's both prey and predator. And so there are these moments where it flips. And so for anybody who is victimized, those are the two choices that you find yourself between. And what I personally interpret for the character is that there's a gray area as well in between, where it's not this binary black and white choice, good and evil. And it's colored with a lot more than that. So if you take upon yourself just strict anger and vengeance to just get back at the predators, then that takes a toll on you. It takes a toll on your body. It takes a toll on your being. And that for me, it's not a balance that we should go for. It's just not right. It's further injustice towards the victim. So that's what I see happening in this show. It's bringing to light the fact that when somebody is attacked in that way, when women are put in that position, we're at such a low common denominator with regards to how we look at misogyny, that there's only this black and white thing. You join them, you're with them, you're against them. And there's got to be a deeper way to look at things.
So, question, I've asked this to actresses before. You know, sometimes this business doesn't have sometimes there aren't some very nice guys in this business. And I asked the person, what should they do? And they said, you should always try to protect your soul, which I thought was kind of spiritual, kind of scary and all that. What does that mean to you? If you're in this business of show business, if you're trying to succeed, but you have to try to protect your soul. What are your thoughts on that?
Oh, that's an easy one. It means you don't sell out. You feel it. Okay, you're talking to somebody who works like I work as a professional intuitive. So for me, it's just a no-brainer to not follow your gut, to not follow your intuition, to not follow what you know as the truth inside of you. And for me, I don't even doubt that for a second. It might be different for somebody else who hasn't yet found that core of themselves, and they don't know what it feels like. They're not grounded in that yet, and so they're easily prey to those situations, and it takes, unfortunately, some experience to feel what that truth is inside, and that goes for both men and women. It goes for anybody. When you learn yourself, and when you learn what you can call soul, you can call your center, you can call who you are. When you really know who you are, you're not going to be in those positions. I have not had those experiences, fortunately.
Again, I've been on the internet researching this, and basically I've seen some very famous people who are saying things. Angela Jolie. I mean, people like, stars. People you never think would be vulnerable to something like this, but they did. Now, question, if you actually were in their situation and you actually did do something you kind of regret, what then? What do you do then?
Again, for me, I will answer that in the context of, if that would be like a character thing. I don't think I would put myself in that position, quite frankly. As I mentioned earlier, I know myself so well, it's a no-brainer that I would not be in that position. I've been in the business for a very long time. I'm very confident in myself and where I put myself on my own path. So it's kind of weird to answer that question.
Well, once again, I really enjoyed the performance. I thought it was kind of scary, kind of creepy, and again, an experience that you don't see everywhere. So again, if you want to get an experience like this, a really Halloween type experience, a really spiritual experience, this is a really good place to come.
True, I agree. I'm so glad you can share this with everybody.
And again, once again, I really enjoyed your performance. Thank you once again for being on the show.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Ashley Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine. And I'm here with...
Hello, Sean Cawelti. I'm the artistic director of Rogue Artists Ensemble, and this is Kaidan Project. I'm the director and puppet designer for the production.
And so question, what made you guys decide to do something like this?
Well, we're an organization that's very interested in stories that incorporate lots of different traditions, storytelling traditions, puppetry, mask. We've been very drawn to a lot of the traditions in Japan, and specifically stories that have to do with shape-shifting and animals that are transforming to become different creatures and humans. So for many, many years we've been researching this project and developing it, and it's now premiering tonight.
What do you really like about the story?
The story, well, it's a story that I think is something we can all relate to. I think everybody has some sense of duality in their lives, and I think this particular story of a woman who is struggling with her own duality is absolutely a story for all, and really gets at the core of what it is to be a complex individual, and to be facing who you are and what you are, and to find that truth.
With what's going on in the news right now in show business and all that, I see there's a lot of talk about abuse, female abuse. Yeah. I saw a lot of abuse in this show.
Yeah, it's interesting. A lot of the stories that the production was inspired by have to do with positions of power, and many of them tell a story of women and of women being put into a position where they may not have control or may not have power. And so it's complicated storytelling for sure, but also very topical in a lot of ways. One of the things we've done throughout the process is worked on balancing out that level of how women are treated, what the role women have in this production, and it's what you've seen tonight.
Also, like your cast, I thought they did a very good job. Yeah. What do you look for in your casting?
Oh my gosh! In casting, we look for artists that are fearless. We look for artists that are able to take risks, that are physical performers, that are performers that connect text and body, that aren't afraid of creating a production using puppetry and mask and storytelling traditions that are maybe not often pursued here in the United States as much.
Well, seeing as you have so much experience in show business, with the themes that are going on right now about abuse and women and all that, what's your advice? What kind of advice can you give to a young lady who actually is facing some problems with Hollywood?
Oh my gosh, that's a huge question. I think anyone that is ever put in a position where they may not feel like they have a voice, I think it's important for them to find a way to have that voice heard. And I think that's regardless of what gender or how you identify, it's important to make sure that your voice is heard and that you're making that a priority. Yeah.
I really enjoyed the performance tonight. I thought it was very appropriate for Halloween. Something I would definitely go to, and I encourage all my listeners to go to that also.
Amazing. Thank you so much for coming tonight. And, I'm a UCI graduate myself, so zot.
Yeah, once again, I love the performance. Thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you so much for coming again. Thank you for being here.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine. And I'm here with?
Hi, I'm Tom Jang. I'm with Rogue Artist Ensemble. I play the man in the hair scene. I joined Rogue Company somewhere around, I think, the last time that this production came up at the Japanese Water Garden. And ever since then, we moved from that workshop into this one. And it's just been a really great run.
Great. And which character you play again?
I play Sekichi. I'm in the cardboard box room. I'm in the one with the wife and the chopping and the dad. There's been 7 different iterations of him. The first one was, he was like a man stuck in like a karma hell, and now he's sort of just like a guy trying to convince you that he didn't really murder his wife, but he actually did. And like, he's cool, he's fun.
In the news right now, they're talking a lot about, female abuse. I saw a theme of female abuse in these pieces. What are your thoughts on that?
I think it's a really great issue to address in an immersive piece it's very culturally specific. And I kind of think it's a given because the story focuses on Kitsune, the female fox spirit. And so for her, it's kind of a given to possess other women through history. And so it kind of makes sense to me that, the current possessed character, Kana, who you follow through the play, travels through Kitsune's past lives and kind of experiences this repeat of abuse from all of her male partners or male interactions. And I think it's really prevalent, especially right now, with everything that's happening in the media. I think it's something that needs to be addressed, and seeing 7 to 9 versions of it, I think it kind of hammers the point home that this is a real issue.
Also, I noticed there's a bit of an Asian theme in that. Is it important, or does it make it special, or does it make it not special? What are your thoughts on that?
The Asian element in it is, I guess, to say the least, it's incredibly necessary. The story is based on Hyaku Monogatari Kaidan, which is the Japanese storytelling tradition of telling ghost stories during the samurai era. And what they used to do is they would go into a room and tell a ghost story each while blowing out a candle. And they believed that once the last candle got blown out, the gates to the spirit world would open. We're recreating that tradition with this show. And so this show is very Japanese themed and very Japanese oriented. So I think it's necessary to pay homage to that. There are lots of references, lots of characters speak in Japanese. My character speaks in Japanese. And it's really cool because a lot of the choices are very, very specific, so that Japanese speakers who come to this show, they see the nuances. Like, for example, my character speaks in Kansai Ben, which is a southern Osaka dialect, while other characters speak in local regional Sapporo, Hokkaido, and Tokyo standard accent. There's also was a lot of discussion about cultural appropriation and cultural significance. And so a lot of our cast members had thorough training on how to be respectful to the material while also having artistic liberty to interpret on top of it.
Yeah, once again, it's really lovely. I really like the Japanese theme because you could see the Japanese art in it, the Japanese design of furniture, of Japanese designs and all that. So it's actually very lovely.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I think as the production went along, what we as actors, or at least I as an actor, saw was there was much more respect paid to the Japanese tradition. We saw more of it get added, with the penultimate scene, there was more of a Japanese commercial theme, and with my scene, the room became more of a Japanese living room, and there was tatami mats added to the tea room. It was very cool, and I appreciated that. I also appreciated that there was a clear separation between the religious aspects in Japan. Shinto was Shinto, Buddhism was Buddhism. The two did not mix, and we had a really big discussion on that too.
Once again, I really enjoyed the performance. Thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm here with?
I'm Jolene Kim. I'm an actress, and I'm also a writer and a producer. I produce an all-Asian sketch group called The Golden Hour, and I'm also involved in clown, idiot work, comedy, do a lot of characters, and acting as well.
And which character you play tonight?
Tonight I'm playing Kana. I believe that she's, there's a fine line between mental illness and being possessed with spirits, and I believe that they're kind of intertwined together. So she's a woman who struggles with spirits, with voices, with mental health also. And she's in this building, and she's here asking people for help.
Yeah, if my viewers decide to come and see this piece, what should they expect to see?
They should expect to see a really great production, full of a lot of tech, lights, sound, and a great story as well.
I agree with that. I really love the production values. The scenery, again, the puppets, or the characters, and the makeup. It added so much to it, because obviously, because it's the type of almost like a haunted house atmosphere, it mattered a lot, and it was wonderfully done.
Yes, yeah. It's an immersive piece, so you get to be as involved as you make it as an audience member. If you decide to just sit back and listen and watch, that's what you'll get. If you want to get involved, you can get more involved as well.
Yeah, once again, I really enjoyed myself tonight. Thank you very much for being on the show.
Great, thank you.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine. And I'm here with
Tane, Kawasaki. I'm a theater artist and educator here in Los Angeles. I have a large community from the school that I came here for, and that was Cal Arts, and I'm just very pleased to be able to work with Rogue Artist Ensemble.
And what did you do tonight?
Tonight I played Kana. She's a hard-working lady with a lot of heart that is always put herself out to help others, and she suddenly finds herself in a position where she can't figure out how to help herself. And so this is really a play about, or a story about her trying to figure out how to reconcile this disturbance that is keeping her from being able to be herself.
I found this very interesting. I found it somewhat like a cross between an immersive theater piece, like a cross between Disneyland, and actually a cross between a haunted house.
I can see that. I think that there's definitely some really personal moments that happen, and then you also have, to juxtapose that, some very broad strokes that will give you sort of that feeling of being in a themed environment. But I think that what the show is able to do is really balance the difference between personal space and a more open and public space.
If my viewers decide to come and see this piece, what should they expect to see?
They should expect to see some very artful depictions of very gruesome events and some very real experiences in some very hyper real situations. There's a lot of fun, there's a lot of environments that will consume them, and there's a lot of performances that will transport them to a different place.
I really enjoyed the piece. I thought it was very appropriate for the Halloween season. It was also, I was told that basically theater noir, the dark theater, it could be more intense than, say, a motion picture, because you can't leave. You actually see things coming at you. It's like, it's very, how should I put it, it's very real. So again, it's something that I guess people don't take advantage of a whole lot in the theater community, but it's been there for a long period of time.
Yeah, I mean, some of the feedback that I've heard is that, you think you know where you are. You're at a show that's happening on the 5th and 6th floors of this particular building, and you know that it's a show, and you know that maybe that's a puppet and it's not really something menacing, but even so, you still feel this anticipation and you're not sure what's going to happen next. And so I think that's really fun, that even though there's not actual blood being sprayed on you or anybody actually getting hurt, that there's still this feeling of anticipation and fright, essentially, that spurs you on to the next moment.
Once again, I really enjoyed myself tonight. I had a lot of fun. Thank you very much for being on the show.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Kana Project, Walls Grow Thin. will be playing at Rogue Artists Ensemble from October 5th to November 5th. For more information, go to www.eastwestplayers.org or www.rogueartist.org.